Welcome to Retrospective Rants with me, Joey Huff, as your host. Today is a very special episode, as I will be reading from a short story of my own making named Parted. This is one story I'm particularly excited about because I wrote this little terror as part of a collaboration. Indeed, you can find Parted and others of the same spooky nature in Don't Read This Book After Dark, a compilation of horror novels that now has 3 volumes and in anthology. You can find them in ebook format through all major distributors and in paperback from Amazon, Lulu, and Barnes & Noble. Links will be in the description. With that out of the way, please sit back and listen to this chilling tale of loneliness, deception, and horror. Journal Entry 1, August 23rd, 2007. Hello, I guess. I'm not sure how to start this. Whatever this is, this personal realization writing is way beyond my comfort zone. Fine, here it goes. I'm Dr. Andreas de Firenze. I'm 29 years old, recently graduated from medical school. Up until a month ago, I was a practicing physician at St. John's Hospital. Medical school. No way to count how many days I didn't see or speak to anyone besides a teacher or a TA. All that time, and none of it paid off. Whatever, I'm writing in the stupid journal because Dr. Izo said it would help my state of mind. I spent almost 15 years of my life training to be a surgeon. And before I even got to pick up a scalpel, I fell on my face. Right there in the operating room, I fell on my face. 2 days later, I woke up to a nurse speaking to me like I was too stupid to understand the terminology, saying I had a skin disease. Doctor walks in, shithead doctor whose name I never caught, and says they don't know what it is. I have a whole new skin disease that nobody's seen before. I hope I never talk to my patients the way this asshole spoke to me. He was reading me like I was one of my old textbooks. I could diagram with all my failing parts getting pointed out in class. How the hell is that guy? Because I'm the first case of this disease, he said they'll name it after me. And he tells me there's already a Florence syndrome, so it'll take some time before they settle on an official title. Bastard keeps going on like this, even while I sat there with an open mouth and tears in my eyes. Nobody knows if there's a cure. The doctors keep saying they're working on it, but I'm just a case study. They say they're helping, but I've seen that look before. They looked at me the same way I looked at patients who said they had worms in their brains or complained about stomach problems after forgetting the directions on their meds. They want me gone. My life is ending, my body is dissolving, and they're too annoyed to give a damn. Get me off their back and made me see a shrink. Dr. Izo may have been right about the journal, though. Feels good to rant about all this, even if I'm the only one reading it. God help me. I need a break. I take a bath, but my skin might start molting. Journal Entry 2, August 28th, 2007. I need a new doctor. Not a new shrink. Dr. Izo is fine. I needed a new physician. This Dr. Regina is one of the most incompetent, stuck-up, egomaniacal shitheads I've ever met. First, she sat me in this ugly shit chair, and it felt like rocks were sticking in my ass. And she runs through the same questions she's been asking every day for 5 days. Are you okay? Is there any change? Describe what you're feeling now. But my skin is rotting in front of your face. I need a change of bandages every hour. And I can barely string 2 words together. What do you think I'm feeling? Was I ever like this? Was I this passive-aggressive? I tried to be polite. I answered every question. I stood in front of the X-ray, let her take my vitals on, all the usual nonsense. And I did it without complaint. My life is on the line, and she's looking at me like she's cleaning a plate. Today though, I asked about skin grafts. Not as a cure, just as a way to slow things down. She didn't want to give me an estimate, but I can feel it. My body is giving up on itself. I'm willing to try anything, even if it only delays the inevitable. She looked at me the way I'd look at a dog biting my shoes. It didn't matter that it was my life on the line. It didn't matter that I was another physician. It didn't even matter that we were colleagues at the same hospital. She was the doctor, and I was just a patient. How dare I even consider questioning her treatment? Bitch. She said artificial or preserved skin wouldn't do, even if it was compatible. I said, why not try? told her it was only a matter of time before the condition spread to my organs. She told me I was making a presumption without a solid basis, and that I was too close to the problem. Right before the test results came in and said that my condition had spread to my internals. Why? Why is this happening to me? Why am I dying like this? Why are people who are supposed to take care of me treating me like I'm trash? What did I do to deserve this? Was I that bad of a person? Screw that. I don't need this. They'll just give me another shithead doctor. I need to find somebody else. Maybe one of my old teachers. Dr. Therese is still working at Manassas General. I can get all my charts, and we can coordinate. I just need time. God help me. I just need time. Journal Entry 3, June 5th, 2007. It's been a while since I used this. I guess I was too happy. I only wrote in this because I felt like shit before. For the past few months, I've been happy. Totally and completely happy. The operation was a success. Dr. Therese told me there was an experimental procedure that might help. I needed comprehensive transplantation of skin, internal organs, and even hair. It would be grueling, and I'd have to be under for who knew how long. But it was the only chance I had. Therese is a brilliant physician, so, of course, I thought she was right. She's blunt, straightforward, and fearless. So, of course, I couldn't even guess that Therese might be hiding something from me. She pushed me to keep studying when I was depressed, and was the first to congratulate me when I became a doctor. Therese is my mentor. Why wouldn't I trust her? I'm writing all of this, thinking through all of this because I have to convince myself I wasn't stupid. I didn't ask who else would be helping with the surgery because obviously Therese would have only the best to assist her. I didn't ask where the organs and skin would come from because I figured they'd just get help from donors. I didn't ask why they had to operate that very day because I was dying as we spoke. I didn't ask why the operating room was lined with sterilized lead and soundproofed because I was too scared. And all I wanted was a cure. When I woke up, my face unbandaged, my hands unscarred, and my mouth not tasting like blood, I was speechless. I almost jumped out of the bed and kissed and hugged everyone who'd worked on me. Dr. Therese told me the operation was a complete success. And I could go home and do as I'd like after a week. I called my parents and what friends I had left, and we planned on having a great big barbecue the moment I got out. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a doctor again after my time with Regina. Dr. Therese told me not to think about it now since I'd have the time. A week later, I went home and had a wonderful time with my friends and folks all night. Then I woke up in the morning in a cold sweat. I don't remember much about the party because I had the worst nightmares I've had in my entire life. And there were so many of them. So vivid and so real. I was a father desperate for cash. A boy, a kid, struggling to work off his dead parents' debts. And then I was a mom, and my kids needed food. That was just it. I felt like I was all those people. I felt it in my skin. I talked to Dr. Therese about it, and she told me it was just fear and stress from the procedure. Everything was finally crashing down around me, emotionally speaking. But they kept coming, nightmare after nightmare. Then I saw it. I saw a bruise on my arm. It was the same one I'd seen in my nightmares where I was a cop fighting off a mugger. That was just the first injury, too. My fingers shriveled and then went back to normal again. My teeth grew longer like a dog's and shrank back. Just an hour later, my body keeps changing back and forth every night. Each time I see different people live and die, injuries appear on my body. I'm sure of it. I'm driving down to talk with Dr. Therese now. I deserve to know what went into the operation. I need to know now. June 5th, 2007. I need someone to know this. We don't know who will ever read this, but oh God, holy shit. I've been running so long that I can't remember everything, but I'll do my best. I need people to know. I need them to know that this was all real. I went to see Dr. Therese, but she wasn't in her office. Her secretary had told me she'd left hours ago. The office was completely barren, and Therese was apparently in such a rush that she forgot some documents the secretary had on hand. I knew where Therese lived, which was true, and then I said I'd get the papers to her. A lie. We don't know why. Maybe God gave us inspiration or something, but instead of reading the documents then and there, we pulled them out of the folder and took pictures of them as fast as we could and out of sight. I'm glad I did, because I saw Therese's car speeding into the lot as soon as I finished. I walked over to her, gave her the documents, and told her about my symptoms. She spouted the same lies she'd been spinning, and we parted ways. I looked through the pictures in my car as soon as I saw her go, and I read a bunch of numbers. Most of them were dates with initials next to them, but one document had 3 addresses. I decided to go to the one furthest from the hospital, thinking it would be the last one Therese would visit. God proved me right again, even though I wish he hadn't. It was a meat packaging plant. I told the guards I was with Therese, showed them pictures of us together, and made very strong threats regarding her temper if I was kept too long. They showed me through the warehouse and then into the back room. They were people. They were harvesting organs from living people. They were kept cold and alive and then cut into pieces until nothing was left. I saw kids. I saw kids. Even saw babies curled up in umbilical cords and kept in fucking jars. They were harvesting stem cells. We looked at every human being in those containers, and our nightmares flashed before us with each new victim. That's where our new heart came from. Our lungs and our skin. We had to run. The bastards must have caught on because they started running after me, and I saw cars coming in from a distance. I took one of their cars, an SUV, where they were loading their merchandise. I wouldn't call the cops if I had their cargo, and they wouldn't just ram into me. It was too much of a risk. I drove, and I drove. I hit the highway as soon as I could, then dived onto the nearest ass-end dirt road I saw. I texted my parents and some friends once I felt safe. Still driving, they asked why I was so scared, asked where I was, and said I wasn't making any sense, and I didn't know what to do except show them my pictures and say I'd see them soon. So many things were happening, and so many thoughts were racing through my head that we ignored the road and ran into some poor family in a minivan. I rushed out to see if they needed help, and gunshots started ringing. They followed me. Therese's partners, henchmen, or whatever the hell you call them, they followed me. I was so scared that I just ran. I heard a man, a woman, and 2 children scream like a single out-of-tune choir. Each voice disappeared after each shot. The house was there, the family's house. Another child. Their youngest ran out to see what had happened to his family. We tried to shout at him to run away, but he didn't listen, and his screams disappeared with another burst of gunfire. The door was open, though, so I ran in. The family must have been big believers in the Second Amendment, God keep them, because I found a whole arsenal of weapons and ammo. We felt our hands move like clockwork as we loaded and prepped a genuine AK-105 and used it on the guys who came after me. It was like our dreams. It took everything I had to ignore the bodies, the people whose names I didn't know, and search for the attacker's car that was gone. The driver must have stayed to watch the car, then bolted when he heard the shooting stop. I couldn't call anyone since my phone was broken. The family's phones were in the same shape and the thugs had none on them. I didn't know what to do. My hands were bleeding, and I saw my face in the minivan's windows. It was shifting, looking like a melted piece of clay. All the while I heard voices. They whispered about how they died, and each voice came from a part of my body that I knew was taken from them. It was as if I were being guided to the car I'd stolen, through the chairs and towards the openings in the seats and walls. I took them out. I took out the containers that were cold to the touch, all of them covered in biohazard and toxin stickers, but I knew what they held. The first box opened simply enough. One of the dead assholes had a key that worked just fine. Inside the box was folded skin, human skin, folded over itself like a dry-cleaned shirt. We heard something when we touched it. We hear it now, just by thinking of it. It was ours. Whether it came from our lips or feet didn't matter. It was a part of us, a part we'd missed for far too long. I was in so much pain, and I know we were so hungry. We ate the skin. Our wounds healed. The aches and bleeding stopped. And our face, my face, set itself right. I don't even remember the taste. Only the relief afterward and whatever pain that hung on. My heart was beating so fast and my lungs felt like they were soaked in cooking oil, but those pains disappeared with each box I opened and every piece of ourselves we took back. There were at least 10 containers in that car. We ate everything in them and we felt so good afterward. Then we bit into the woman who died just minutes before. It was horrifying, but only after I'd almost gnawed off her entire left arm. I ran into the house. A letter from a hospital was on the kitchen table, thanking the dead woman for her kidney donation. That's when I realized the truth. We ate the woman's arm because she was already a part of us. We ate the parts in the car because they were ours. We knew that we would always feel the urge to find and reassemble ourselves wherever our pieces might be, or whoever was using them. I don't know who will read this first, but please listen. We tore into a woman who'd been dead less than an hour because we had pieces of her inside us. We couldn't control ourselves. And the first thing we thought was how we wished she had been fresh and alive. We felt no horror or disgust when we thought that. Thank God. The absence of horror horrified me. There are plenty of guns here. I'll choose whichever looks like it would work fastest, and then end it all. Please tell our families that we love them. Tell our friends we'd wished we'd gone to game night with them far more than we did. And please bury us, all of our parts, where they belong. It's the only thing we want now. Goodbye, and God, forgive me for the part I played in all this. And that was Parted. Just one story from a collection of horrifying tales by many talented authors. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested in reading Parted for yourself, or are looking for others of its kind, the Don't Read This Book After Dark collections can be found on all major ebook distributors and in paperback format on Amazon, Lulu, and Barnes & Noble. Links are included in the description. Thank you so much for listening to Retrospective Rants, and have a good one.